Welcome back to Inside the LPGA podcast. Guys, just for y'all, we decided to do a mini episode. We originally did not have an episode planned this week, but after all of the craziness last week at KPMG Women's PGA Championship and the Olympics getting confirmed, we were like, I feel like we kind of need to update them. But usually we start with a slay of the week, but we're not doing that because we all have actually agreed that we're ready to be haters today, and we're gonna do our biggest travel pet peeves because I think we've all been traveling a lot lately, and so they're fresh on my mind. I'm ready to go. I'll go first, don't worry. Number one is when you're carrying a bunch of bags and like someone around you isn't, and they just step right in front of you, and you like trip over them, and then they're just completely like, it's like all common sense just goes out of the brain when they walk into the airport. And when people have their bare feet up on your seat. This happened to me. Stop pulling out the dogs on the plane. That's all I gotta say. Anyways.
Dogs need to be up.
They need to be secured and put away. But yeah, whatever. Okay. Anyways, what's happening, guys? Emma, what's yours?
I get that completely. I always feel like everyone cuts me off when I have, like, I usually have my carry-on, my golf bag, a big bag, and everyone cuts me off, and I'm like, can you not see I'm struggling? Like, I have 5 bags with me. But my pet peeve is actually with the airline people because my golf bag is usually heavy. I have a staff bag. I usually have an extra club or 2 in the bag. I have golf balls, my umbrella, my rain suit in there. It's all my golf stuff, two pairs of shoes. And I get asked when it's overweight, when it's like 57 pounds or 55 pounds, they say, is this only golf clubs? And I'm like, yes. They're like, well, then why is it so overweight? And I'm like, it's none of your business why it's overweight. I'm allowed 70 pounds with my bags because I have status. And I'm like, you cannot tell me that I can't have my golf stuff in this bag. So usually I have to say something smart aleck like, well, it is my job, and I've been traveling for a month, so it's just a bit on the heavy side today, and that's how I leave it. That's my biggest pet peeve, because I'm like, it's none of your business what's in my bag.
Period. Drop the mic. I agree. Adam, what's yours?
My pet peeve is probably the people who like get up early from the like the lower or the further back aisles and start to like creep their way forward and or like muscle their way forward. Like what are we trying to accomplish here, people? Like and also, don't you know like etiquette or decorum?
I don't think
or like
they do.
Numbers? Like they just like, again, to your point about like all things kind of going out the window. At airlines and on airplanes, like that one like irks me the most because, or like, you know, you are getting out and you're clearly in a row prior to somebody else, and they're like like you, it's almost like you are inconveniencing them by being the person who's like actually supposed to be like getting up. So I've kind of just like, if someone is in my way, like from behind and I'm like in a row ahead, I usually just like box them out.
You're like
anyway.
the big trucks.
I'm just like, no, it's my turn. Stop what you're doing.
You're like the big truck on the highway.
Anyways,
you know how they do that? They like get in the middle to block everyone.
And you just have to like move.
Adam is a big truck.
Yeah, it's like,
watch out, people.
So that's my pet peeve. I've had a very it was a unique travel experience this week for sure, but I won't bore the listeners on that. But let's just say I missed a connection to get home by like a mere 19 minutes on Monday night, and it was the last one of the day, so I had to like find an airport hotel, and then I was up again early to get onto the first flight of the day to get home. So so it goes. Just add it to the golf reporter travel life. Just another day.
We ain't on the PGA Tour, are we? No. We live that commercial life.
It's so true. Okay, well, I'm glad we could all get that off our chest. I texted everyone before and I was like,
I feel better.
what do y'all think about this? I'm ready to unload. So glad we could do that. But let's get to the main point of this podcast. Let's talk about some golf. I want to talk about the KPMG Women's PGA Championship. It was the third major of the year. It was an amazing week. I was on site at Sahalee, and everything about it just felt big. It was such a good week. And obviously, Amy Yang won, as most of you watching or listening probably already know. And every time I've ever seen Amy win, I don't think I've ever seen so many players rush the green and like spray her with champagne. Honestly, it's so cool. But I think just first and foremost, from like an outside perspective, Emma, if you could just kind of talk on Amy and just like who she is as a person and why she's just so loved and why it's so cool to see her win her first major championship.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen her already this morning. I saw her on the range and gave her a big hug, and I was like, I can't wait to see what you buy with this big win. Because last year when she won CME, I texted her and I'm like, ah! And me and Amy actually share our mental coach. We have the same mental coach. So I was obviously texting him throughout the whole final round, like, she's doing it, because she was so far ahead going into that back nine. But, I think Amy is just really respected out here. She always has a smile on her face. She's very classy. She's very humble. She's been out here for a long time, so a lot of the Korean players look up to her as like a mom. And I think even someone like me, I think she's battled it, and she's battled, she's been up and down, and she's won a lot, but then she's never won a major. This is the first major she's ever won. She's just a really nice person, and always she's full of class. Win, lose, or draw, she's always got a smile on her face. She's always so nice to talk to. When you meet people that you walk away and you're like, oh, I love her. That is exactly how everyone feels about Amy. And that takes a special someone to feel that way about, from a competitor standpoint too. Like every time you play with her, she's just so nice to play with. She has a great aura about her, and she's just an awesome person, and she's so beautiful inside and out. And I think everyone was just so happy for her. So, it's really cool to see. And like I said, is this her 16th year? I read on tour as well.
So like 16th year on tour.
Everyone knows her. And everyone, she's just really loved out here on tour, and she's such a nice person.
Hope, real quick, I was at an event on Monday, and Lori Kane was there, obviously multi-time LPGA Tour winner, but Lori's well into her 50s now, and even Lori, in kind of that next generation, a little bit older, when she says when Amy Yang first started, she was supposed to be the next Sahalee Pack, right? That's when Amy kind of got started. And of course, to Emma's point, she did win, and she has won a bunch, but she never kind of broke through for this major championship win, which she finally did on Sunday. And so even from the dozen plus golfers who were there ready to spray champagne to someone like Lori, who's, like I said, well into her 50s, like, everybody knows Amy Yang. And I think too, like friend of the show, Luke Kerr-Deneen from Golf Digest, he's their kind of swing guy. He was posting a lot of video. Like Amy Yang's action is tremendous. Like her golf swing is so beautiful, so good, so good. And I think I remember asking her last year. She was the oldest winner on the LPGA Tour last year when she won that the CME Tour Championship. And it's like, what does that mean to you? And she said the perfect thing. She's like, age is just a number. And I thought, what a great attitude to have. And now, obviously, to take this major championship across the finish line. So great. Awesome story. Awesome finish.
Yeah. Awesome. Yes.
I mean, the girl loves a big check.
Yeah, she took it away, too.
Yeah, she won this tournament.
She loves the big events. She did. Like, it's not that other people lost it. Like, she just ran away with it. And it was at a point... I feel like we haven't had a Sunday in a while where we've looked at the leaderboard and been like, oh, they're going to win. And this was one of those days where I was like, yeah, no one's catching Amy. Despite her double and despite her bogey, I mean, those were out there. It's a super hard course. So, like, it was going to happen. But she just had that big of a lead that it really didn't matter. But I just want to go into, you guys talked about, so she's 34. Like you said, Adam, she was the oldest winner last year, and I imagine she's the oldest winner this year as well. But this is her 75th major, her first major win. This is her 6th win. And yeah, like you said, Emma, she's had 16 years on tour. She won $1.56 million, and at CME she won $2 million. So I'm just so happy for her, and it's also really cool to see her and her caddy's like relationship. His name is Jan, and they're so close and they work so well together. I asked her about, their relationship, and she just said it's honestly so nice to have a friend on the bag. And like she said that she's had a lot of caddies on tour. I mean, you're going to when you're on tour for 16 years, but he's the best one that she's ever had. So I thought that was pretty cool and just kind of nice to hear. But besides that, when you look at the leaderboard, every single person on the leaderboard in like the top 10 or even beyond that has such a good story. Like obviously, Emma, you picked Allie Ewing to win, and she got really close and she almost made the Olympic team, but you said you kind of caught up with her, and I hope she's proud of herself for how she's been playing because she has been absolutely crushing it.
Yeah, I mean, Allie's such a good person. She always has a great outlook on life, and obviously she acted really cool about it with me. I'm sure there were moments of like sadness and whatever, but she has a great attitude about everything. And I don't know if she's proud, so I'm talking for her, but I would assume she's very proud of herself because, I mean, her last 5 finishes have been pretty incredible. Starting with the U.S. Open, she finished T2nd. Is that right? T3rd?
I think third, yeah.
Third, yeah.
Yeah.
Solo third, that's right. And she's just been having a great last couple months. So I'm sure she's exhausted. She is here at Dow, and she asked me if I wanted to go to get pizza last night, and then she ended up just staying at her housing. So I think she's probably pretty pooped, but I'm just so happy for her, and I agree. Like, there's so many good stories in the top 10. I was looking at it this morning, and, I have so many good friends, Sarah Schmelly, Caroline Inglis, even Lauren Coughlin finished T24th, but technically she won't get Solheim Cup points, but she keeps playing so solid, and I think she could be a Solheim Cup person. So it's just going to be an interesting few months. We're getting closer to Solheim Cup, and there were so many amazing stories at the top, but very sad for Allie, but she's a trooper, and she'll somehow make this just another reason to keep fighting, and she always does.
I think the point about the fight it's so impressive when you see the score when you're fighting for just a 1 under par score for Allie Ewing. Moved her up 5 spots on the leaderboard on Sunday at a major. It just kind of goes to show how tough Sahalee was playing. Kind of reflects the grit, Emma, that you were just talking about someone like Allie, who even at the end of this this hardy run that she's been on, still managed to scrape out at that 1 under par score, and it helped her to climb the leaderboard pretty nicely there in that final round, and hope, I think, to look right there at the golfers who finished tied for second, or at least some of them. You got this pair of former world number ones in Jin Young Ko and Lilia Vu, and now I'm dyingly curious. I'm very, very curious now to see, are we going to get a second half of the season kind of run from Lilia, like maybe we saw a first half of the season run from Nelly, and then is it all going to come to a head, at the CME Group Tour Championship, which would be awesome, obviously. But yeah, Lilia, real quick for me, obviously starts out tough, real tough, over par 75. I think she shot to start the week, and then just kept chipping away, and then before you know it, ends up tied for second. So clearly, her efforts with her team and her trainers and all that stuff has been kind of it's certainly been paying off, and now we're maybe prepped for a nice run from her, and from an LPGA Tour perspective, if you got the stars doing star stuff, it's it's awesome, it's amazing.
All right, so we need to talk about Lexi Thompson because I feel like she was toying with our emotions. I was so excited after the first round when she was leading. Obviously, she was too, but she announced just a couple of weeks ago that she's going to be retiring at the end of this season. And then to come out and be leading after the first round is insane. But she still finished in the top 10. But her final round was like a psycho scorecard. I think she was 7 over on the front 9 and then 5 under on the back 9. So absolutely insanity. But it was really cool to just kind of see her after the round. She was still just in great spirits. I think she was just happy to be there and be signing all the autographs, which, by the way, there was a million little kids there, and it was so cute. But speaking of that and this whole tournament, before we wrap it up, I want to go into our KPMG performance insights, and we got our stats guy on deck, aka Adam Stanley. So, Adam, if you could just tell us about what Amy Yang did last week.
Yeah, very, very deserving person to shine the spotlight on with respect to this week's KPMG performance insights at the KPMG Women's PGA Championship. Also, shout out KPMG and that Champcast, that new feature that they had on the leaderboard with every shot being tracked with the 3D flyovers and all that stuff. That was sick. So here's hoping that can be applied to some other events moving forward. But anyways, KPMG Performance Insights, Amy Yang, big win, big major win, and it was all really due to her short game. She made the fewest bogeys of any player in the field, and that short game of hers was really the thing that did it. She was first in strokes gained, tee to green. She was first in scrambling. She was first in. She made the fewest bogeys out of anyone in the field, as I mentioned, and she was second in strokes gained around the green. So major championships, you got to be tight around the greens, especially greens that are as difficult as they were at Sahalee. So Amy Yang, first strokes gained tee to green, first in scrambling, fewest bogeys in the field, and second in strokes gained around the green. Add that all up, and you have a first-time major winner, and that was this week's KPMG Performance Insights.
Amazing. Thank you, Adam. She's so good. She chipped in like a million times. I mean, it was crazy. But we got to talk
Hope, how
about...
tight was it? Was it tight?
What?
Like Sahalee? Was it as tight as everyone keeps saying?
100%. Just walking around even, it was so tight. Yeah, it was crazy. But it was cool to see players navigate a course like that because we don't play as many, tree-lined courses just in any given year. So it was different for me. I liked the Pacific Northwest. I want to go back there. I don't know if I'll play that course, but yeah, it is beautiful.
Amazing. What a major. All good.
Yeah. Great week. So that was the third major of the year. We still have 2 more left, and another big event that we have coming up in August are the Olympics. And I'm so excited because all of the teams, all of the countries have been pretty much finalized. I mean, I know things can happen and, people can drop out, whatever, etc. But pretty much everything has been finalized because last week was the final week to qualify. So for those who don't know, it's obviously different than a normal golf tournament. There are 60 players in the field. And yeah, the whole way that you qualify is through Rolex rankings. So KPMG was a really important week. Some players got in, some players dropped out, like what we talked about Allie. Was really hoping to see her make the US team, but it is what it is. So just a quick note for the American team, it's going to be Nelly Korda, Lilia Vu, and Rose Zhang. So I'm super excited for that. And then with Amy Yang's win, she's going to be playing in the Olympics for Korea. There's just so many good teams, and Japan was one that also kind of came down to the wire, and it ended up being someone who's actually not even a member on the LPGA. Her name is Miyu Yamashita. She had an amazing finish at KPMG to basically get her into the Olympics. So
it's gonna be cool, and I'm excited to see. The women obviously teed up at Le Golf National, Ryder Cup host golf course, longtime DP World Tour golf course as well. So, plenty of the men have played there, like I said, at the Ryder Cup just a few years ago in Paris. But the golf course is really, really good. And just the field on the women's side is it's so stacked. Like, it's going to be, you got the 5 majors, but this one's going to be a really, really interesting and competitive race to see who wins a medal. For sure.
Yeah, I was just going to ask you, Emma, do you think that adds pressure to players whenever they were trying to qualify? Like, for example, last week. Like, do you think even the ones who maybe didn't make the team or who did make the team, do you think they're probably happy that this qualifying period is just over?
Yeah.
And now they can just kind of focus on the tournament at hand?
Yeah,
every
I
week?
think it did add a added pressure. I don't know, like I've said before, I don't know how many girls knew exactly what they needed to finish because obviously even the Japanese girl that finished second or whatever she finished, people go in and out of that ranking, so it's kind of hard to make a big decision like how good do I have to play, which probably helps the pressure. But I know deep down Allie probably knew she needed to make that last putt, and it was 10 feet away. And she left it barely short. But I think the players have to remember that it's not just one stroke. It's not just one round. Like these points have been adding up for a long period of time. So it's not like one thing made a big difference. But in retrospect, it does. Like every point out here matters. And that's what's crazy about golf is everything you do out here matters for something. So it's just an interesting game, and it's so cool that these girls get to represent their country. I mean, golf wasn't in the Olympics not too long ago, so I think it's just so cool.
Yeah.
Like there used to not be professional athletes in the Olympics, so it's just a really cool. I'm so jealous. Like obviously, I would love to be playing. That'd be like so dreamy, but. Yeah, I think girls are probably happy that this is over and you can just concentrate because we got 2 more majors coming up soon and there's a lot of golf left for this season.
Oh, yeah. Adam, Team Canada is official. Brooke Henderson and Elena Sharp.
Yeah. We had a little run at the end because Maddie Zurich, who is also obviously on the LPGA Tour. She played the Epson Tour event, Emma, just like you last week, and finished tied for 7th. So there was a couple questions because Elena played in the KPMG and she missed the cut. So there was a few questions kind of ripping around, wondering if Maddie ended up jumping Elena, but she fell a little bit short. I think she ended up being 6 or 7 spots back, and kind of was one of the stories like Amy Yang, kind of that final day, situation, who was going to get in and who wasn't. But yeah, Elena and Brooke, they're kind of like big sister, little sister. They played all 3 of the Olympics together, and Brooke was just a couple shots back of winning the bronze in Tokyo. So she's super motivated, and I talked to her on Monday, and she said she's actually going to enjoy, which is, Emma, kind of back to your point about the girls as golfers, but also Olympians. And I think, like, to emphasize that point, like Brooke was like, yeah, obviously the Tokyo Games impacted by COVID, completely different. The Rio Games, completely different with Zika. And this one is like kind of the most like normal Olympics that we've had in quite some time. And Brooke was like, yeah, I want to try to be like an actual Olympian. Like I want to go to closing ceremonies, or I want to maybe see some other athletes, even though the athletes village is like an hour away from the golf course. They're going to try to install some of those like I'm an Olympian moments into their life, which is that's going to be like a really neat takeaway to see what they see and do and feel and how they interact with other athletes. And yeah, like LPGA Tour golfers going to the closing ceremonies, very neat.
Yeah,
will be very
so
neat.
cool. Holding up their flags.
I know. It's so cool. I was never good enough at a sport to do that, but
Most of us are
you
not.
also have to be the best of the best. So
Most people do not get to do that, I hope.
We'll get our own like little flags, and during the Olympic podcast episode, we can be our own flag wavers, flag bearers.
that's cute. I like that idea. I like that idea a lot. Well, for those people who maybe haven't seen the field just yet, you can go pretty much anywhere on like LPGA.com, LPGA social media to see kind of who's going to be in the field. I mean, there's multiple places. If you just Google it, honestly, like that's probably the best way to do it.
I thought you were gonna say like you can go anywhere like on the internet and find it.
Well, like you can, but if you want a direct place to go, just go to lpj.com and you can read all about it, see all about it. But it's going to be really exciting. But it's funny because once the Olympics ends, the qualifying period, then it ramps up the Solheim Cup qualifying period. So that is another thing that they're going to be focused on, Team Europe and Team USA. But we're not going to really get into it in this episode just because that would take a while. And I want to just talk about the tournament at hand this week. I want to talk about Dow Emma, you are there. How's it looking?
I'm here. I'm actually in the clubhouse as we speak. I had to move around a couple of times because my Wi-Fi keeps cutting in and out. But yeah, it's so fun. This is one of my favorite tournaments of the year. I'm at the golf course because this morning it flooded the golf course, so we couldn't tee off until about 10 o'clock this morning, and the range didn't open until 11. So the course got soaking wet. But I just finished up my practice round. The golf course, I love this golf course. I think it sets up really well for a team event. There's some goable, drivable par fours. You know, it's like a really big risk reward because there's water. So there's certain holes where it is risky to go for the green in 2 on a par 5 or go for it on a par 4. And that's part of the fun of the risk reward and figuring out who's going to tee off on the odds, who's going to tee off on the evens. And the team names, my team name is Hot John's Girls at Bachelor, ABC Bachelor.
Heck yeah.
My teammate, her name's Jody Shadoff, and we've played together. This is our 4th year playing together. And her caddy, I knew him as Lawyer John because he was a lawyer before he was a caddy. And he quit his job to come out and caddy. And then he actually practices law still because his firm still wanted him. So he's a lawyer.
Such a power move.
And a caddy. And I thought everyone called him because obviously there's several people named John. So everyone has nicknames out here. So I thought everyone nicknamed him Lawyer John. Well, come to find out, everyone was calling him Hot John. So now we have definitely caught on to that. And it's been really fun to embarrass him. And I don't know, I've got shirts made up that even say it, and
Hot John's
Girls.
Right?
What a man, what a man,
right.
what a man, that's our song. Or we can't decide between that or it's getting hot in here, so take off all your clothes.
Oh my God, that's a good one
One
too.
or the other, that is what's happening. So
10 out of 10.
It's just really fun. And like I said, me and Jody have played really well at this event the last couple of years. We finished tied 3rd last year. Talking about points, I lost my card. Everyone on here knows I've had a bit of a weird year. If I would have made the putt on the last hole last year, 6-footer, I would not have lost my card. So it really is a crazy lifestyle. We finished tied for 3rd instead of solo 3rd. I missed a 6-footer on the last hole. So it really is crazy how everything matters out here. But this is just like a really good tournament for me to finally kickstart my LPGA season. I know it's in the middle of the year already, but I have had a couple good weeks on Epson Tour, getting my game in tune. And it's interesting because, sorry I'm talking so much, but I'm telling you the tea. It's also very interesting. A lot of players that usually don't play, top players, are playing this year. And it's because used to this tournament fell right before the Evian Championship, whereas this year it's falling after a major before a week off. So there's tons of teams that usually would not be here, but they are. So it's going to be a tougher field. And then a lot of girls, you have to get your 1 and 4. So some of the girls are having to get their 1 and 4 in too. So there's a lot of new teams out there. It's a different year because the weather was pretty crazy today. So I don't know how that's going to affect the golf course. And it's just going to be an exciting event, and it's really fun. And I can't wait to see everyone's names and songs. And it's just a really cool. Dow does such a great tournament, runs such a great tournament, and it's just really, really fun.
2 really quick ones from me, Hope, just to put a pin on the names and the songs, because I have them right in front of me. I think the best name that I've seen is Rosang and Alexa Pano. Their name is Rolexa, which I thought was like absolutely tremendous.
I like that.
It also looks like the golfers on the LPGA Tour are absolutely obsessed with Morgan Wallen, because I'm looking at no fewer than 4 teams that are using "I Had Some Help," Morgan Wallen and Post Malone as their walk-up song. So those are my observations.
I don't like that because that doesn't even make sense, does it? Those songs don't make sense. I'm more of like let me get a song that represents the name. That's just
that's fair.
I'm hating on these girls, but sorry.
Well, you got to step on. Yeah, you got to step on next this week.
I got to trip them. I got to trip them, beat them up, squish them like bugs.
Why don't you just shoot like 26 under or something? That might be good.
That's the goal.
Okay. Good.
Go crazy.
Yeah.
Go off.
I also agree, though, that I feel like walk-up songs should be like hype and have to do with your team name. I don't know. I would have something crazy. I don't know what it would be. Maybe that's a topic for another week, what our walk-up songs would be, because I'm going to be thinking about that all day now.
Yes.
But yeah, no, I'm super excited for this week. There's a lot of really good teams, and I think it's always super interesting to see how players kind of, pull the best out of each other, because I think you guys are just having fun, and it's like, I think when you're having fun, it changes everything instead of, it being, obviously you have your caddy every week, but still you kind of have a partner to rely on. So there's going to be some really good teams this week. So everyone be sure to tune in. You're going to be able to watch on Golf Channel, Peacock, CBS. I mean, there's multiple places that you can watch, and I will put them on the screen right here. But yeah, with so much going on, I feel like we had to update the people. So you guys, thank you for hopping on here and doing this. I hope y'all have a great week. And Emma, go freaking kill it out there.
Hot John's girls. Woohoo!
And speaking of helping to bring the best out of each other, I'm going to be Hope this week at LPGA Now. So be sure to tune in for LPGA Now at the Dow, and you'll have to listen to me. I'm taking over for Hope for this week.
Perfect.
Woohoo. Thanks for giving me a weekend off.
Woohoo! Y'all come back now, you hear?